Wow, we're doing it. Not like Diana Ross, but we're doing it. We're doing it. That's great. And it's great to be here again. And it's great to have, where'd you guys learn to whisper? In a helicopter? Huh? 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 So 3 Jews are sitting in a row. None of them can whisper. All right? One's going to scream, I'm half Jewish. The other half is Greek. All I can say is watch your back. All right, did I say that? It's a wonderful night tonight. This is LASC's open mic nights. We're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights, and it's a wonderful place to be because there's so many other places you could be. But if people tell you you're funny, you probably are, but you won't know until you take it from the page to the stage. We're not in a nursing home facility. I'm not going to direct everything to you. We're being recorded, and a lot of people here have paid their money, Alan, to get what they came for, okay? Now, I would like Alan to give us a few minutes up front, if you guys don't mind. Alan is one of the very few, yes, he's one of the very few people that actually work with Johnny Carson. And I would like to give him the light, if you don't mind, at 5, so that he has 2 to wrap it up. All right? So, Alan, would you mind coming up here and just sharing something for these people who still have hopes and dreams?
They won't after I get through with them.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Good? Well, he'll fix that.
Wow, another sellout crowd. Jesus.
Another sellout. And while you're at it, give it up for your producer tonight. Both of them over here. Look, we got Kai and we've got Aaron. We got everybody. Your comedy concierge, Samantha Lindemann, is here. And let's give it up for the one and only Alan Bursky.
Woo-hoo. Thank you. I don't know why we have a microphone. Jesus Christ. It's like a silencer or a water pistol. You know, Sunda, I would never perform or do stand-up dressed like this, but after seeing what you're wearing, I thought I'm formal. So, Mark is here. Great to see Mark. You know, this shows you what my life has come to. I've gone from the Tonight Show to a storefront in West LA with 8 people. You know, what an upswing I'm at. God. The fuck are you looking at? Go home, hang yourself. You have no life, no future. Okay? Sitting there with this phone. Look at the setup you have here. So I've never, you know, God, look at this. I was here once before, wasn't I, years ago?
When it was the other way.
What?
When it was this way. It was facing the other way.
Oh. You had that crazy kid who thought he was going to do cruise ships.
Oh, my God.
Whatever happened to him?
You destroyed him. You told him to go home and hang himself.
Well, and he did. Thank God.
Yes, he did. So stop it.
So, you know, I'll tell you something. Have you heard of? I get this email from SAG. You have a SAG card, right?
A little, yeah.
It's amazing. So they send you this email. You know, there's a thing called now SAG Conservatory, whatever, and they have workshops and classes. And I see this thing of a stand-up comedy seminar in the afternoon from Corey Craig Martin. Have you heard of this guy?
Never.
He teaches classes at the Ice House, and the advertisement says 10 years of stand-up comedy. I'm going, 10 years? Christ. I'm doing this, what now, 55 years?
Wow.
Yeah, so I go to, you're applauding me for a living?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. So I go to the class because I said I have an opportunity to teach at UCLA, an extension. So I wanted to see, I've never, you know, been to a comedy class. And this numbnut never recommends one book to the class. Basically, what he doesn't recommend open mic nights, and he's recommending at the end, you know, come to his classes. So I get an email from the woman who runs the conservatory and a bunch of questions. And at the end it says, was he advertising to join his class? I said, yeah, it's when he was pimping students, you know, to $400. So you guys are all new, right, to this? Okay. The best book, and I've collected all of these, and I'm name dropping now. I had lunch last week with Drew Carey, who's an aficionado of, you know, collecting and, you know, stand-up comedy history. And we were talking about books. The best book on comedy writing, and I've been collecting this since 1967, is the new comedy writing Step by Step by Gene Perret. He wrote the best book. It's been under a number of titles, but it's out under that title. And I remember I still have Writer's Digest magazine, 1971. I saw How to Write Jokes by Gene Perret, and it was an article. I still have it. And so he then put out the book, How to Write and Sell Your Sense of Humor, which became Comedy Writing Technique. But and I've collected, I have all of them. That's the best book on comedy writing, and he's written a bunch of books, but he's got another book was out of print to his back I'd recommend to you called Comedy Writing Workbook. I can't emphasize these two books enough. So Drew and I were talking about, there was the Hollywood School of Comedy Writing. It was 12 books, a correspondence course, and it was $30 a month. And this is 1971. I'm, 16 years old, and Jesus, I'd park cars and, shovel dog shit in Topanga Canyon, horse shit, Topanga Canyon, at like, $20 an afternoon to get money. And I would pay for this course. So it went out of business. Ron Carver died and whatever, and I see online, you can't even find it, that some of these books are going for $3,000 to $4,000 a book. So I had a friend, a magician, Dale Salwack, terrific magician, even older than me, and I wanted to buy the books from him, but he looks online. This is several years ago, $4,000 for a book, so he didn't sell it. Now, I was stupid enough in '83, in the depths of my drug problem, I was doing so much damn cocaine. And here's the tragedy, with Billy Joel and with Richard Pryor, of course, but I was the schmuck paying for it. Desi Arnaz Jr., to this day, Billy Joel owes me $120 for a gram. Try and get money out of Billy Joel. So you know what you could do with that light? You have a better chance of using it as a proctoscope than getting I'm on a roll. So a friend of mine did me a very big favor in '83 when I was on my ass, and he wanted these books. So we made a very clean Xerox copy, and I put them in folders, and I gave him the books. So I regret to this day. But another friend of mine now, who's early '80s, who I met in New York at an open mic night, who's like a big brother to me. He had a set of the course, so he sold it to me for $500. So I'm thinking about selling it to Drew for $30,000. But no, I'm going to keep them. They mean a lot to me. It was the Hollywood School of Comedy Writing. But there was no real books on comedy writing. A great book was Great Comedians Talk About Comedy by Larry Wilde. And he became a good friend. He died last year, and he wrote a bunch of books. And he has a second book, but no one can find, called Today's Great Comedians Talk About Comedy. And I got him the interview with Shandling and Seinfeld. But someone, when I was sharing a house with Alan Stevens, I'm missing my Woody Allen books that Woody Allen autographed to me, whatever. But it's a great book because the interview with Woody Allen, Seinfeld, and Shandling are really great interviews about comedy. So I would recommend that. But I go to this class, and this idiot doesn't recommend. Basically, he's pimping for his class. So Sunda will tell you this, and Mark, her sugar daddy husband, will tell you, the idea is to get up. Andrew Dice Clay, I would laugh, and I gave up performing for 9 years. I was best friends. He was a brother to me. It was Freddie Prinze Sr. And when he died, it was the first death I knew, and I went into a depression. Anyway, I became an agent and a manager. But I met Andrew, who just came out, Dice. His balls, he would go like to Grauman's Chinese Theater to see a movie. And before the coming attractions would run, he would get up in front and say, "Hey, I'm a comedian. You want to hear, my comedy?" I'm telling you, that's what it takes. Get up. Unfortunately, today, we used to go to open mic nights. They were called hootenannies at the Troubadour, or with the Improv, it was the Ash Grove, but there was a bunch of places. Sunday night was the Ice House, We got up all the time, even to 5 people. Get up, get up, get up. Jerry Seinfeld, who talks about, in one night they went to 3 different places. We had, this is before the Comedy Store opened. I was there the first night it opened, and I was the first comic from there to be on The Tonight Show. April 7th, I go on at 5 to 2 in the morning. A year to the day later, April 11th, I'm on The Tonight Show. Drove everybody crazy. They were tearing my pictures down, friends of mine. But it was because, I'll tell you this. Oh, I got taller. I'll tell you this. It was from getting up. Nothing else mattered. And what also was, this was like 97. I was living back in New York. And I was going to do, I did 5 evening at the Improvs. And I would go to these open mics in New York City. Al Martin, who just died. Yeah, stand up New York. And there was the same guys who I would see at every, open mic night, these guys. And they did the same shit. They never, something doesn't get a laugh 5 times the most. It's not going to get a laugh, whether it's 5 people or 1,000. Get rid of it. The idea is to tighten. And I would meet these lunatics who would lengthen a bad routine. I would go, psychotics, And there's such a thing, Sunda knows, called laugh ears. You know what laugh ears are? Laugh ears. There are comedians who will tell you they killed, and you watch them. There was not a laugh. Rich Scheidner. Look up Rich Scheidner, great comedian, stand-up comic and writer. We talk about this all the time. They go, "How I killed," and I went, What was he listening to? He's crazy. When I was a kid, I met Woody Allen, spent some time with him. Greatest few months of my life. Election night, 1972. We had his best friend, Mickey Rose, who wrote those movies with him. We had the same manager introduce me. And Woody told me, she's legal. No, Woody told me that, the riddle to all of this is, it's not the material, but it's the material. If it were the material, everybody would go out, spend $25,000 to a great comedy writer and have an act. There were great comedy writers. Bernie West, who wrote all these great sitcoms, or Mickey Rose, who wrote these movies. They tried to be, performers. And they were great writers, but it just wasn't in them. Babaloo Mandel, his name is Mark Mandel, who wrote, Night Shift and Parenthood and Splash, all these big comedy writer with Lowell Gans. Mark tried to do stand-up. And, he's one of the biggest screenwriters, comedy writers in the world. And he was awful. But he was. His name, and they call him Babaloo Mandel because Mark constantly would do Desi Arnaz impressions. Babaloo, so that's how he got the name. But these guys didn't have the chops to perform. Woody Allen never wanted to be a performer. He wanted to be a filmmaker. But he said he realized that if you became the biggest, writer in the world, Stephen King, they won't let you make a movie. But if you're a star, they'll let you do anything. And that's what made him, get into performing. And then from there, I saw him the next to the last week he ever performed, November 72. Topanga and Ventura, they tore it down. It was a theater in the Round, Topanga Music Hall. And I went every day. He let me come see him. And Jim Croce was the opening act. But it was a machine to watch him. Exactly, an hour and 10 minutes. He took his glasses off, cleaned them, it was 90 minutes of perfection, and again, I was on the Richard Pryor show. Richard Pryor, and I would watch Richard Baum, and we would talk about him starting out. Get up, write, edit. The name of the game is the most laughs in the shortest amount of time. if that's, your son. I'm not talking about Rodney Dangerfield doing one-liners. Great comic. I loved him. We were good friends. Probably one of the best nightclub comics ever. Richard Jenny. Look up Richard Jenny on YouTube. Great material. Look up, she's like a sister to me. Look up her specials, Elaine Boozler. A lunatic, but great, and I remember when she first started, I was already doing Tonight shows. She was a singer at the Improv and started. Shandling, I thought Gary was schizophrenic. Gary, would get on stage when the Comedy Store first opened with these loose leaves and open the book and go, and read the stuff. He goes, you think that's funny? Is that funny? Is that? And I went, what, In fact, when he died, guy who worshipped him and gave him his first job, Judd Apatow, calls me. And Gary wrote in his diary and stuff, I wish I had the confidence of Alan Bursky. And also, Gary listed me as a credit writing for Alan Bursky. I buy jokes from him. So I said to Judd, Gary had these loose leaves. He always wrote. I said, how many did he have? Because he was going to make a documentary. He goes, 600 of them. So he was obviously like borderline, on the spectrum, or what they call Asperger's, or, but Gary left the Comedy Store, went to the Ice House and every open mic night. 2 years later, he came back a polished pro, because that's what it takes. So now, you two meet me in my house. So, good luck. But if you want to do this, I tell, people who ask me about, I'm 69 now, and if you look me up, I was doing this since I was 17. I tell them, talk to me when you've done 1,000 shows. Yeah. And that's what it takes. Well, good luck, kids.
Where can they find you on social media?
What?
Where can they find you on social media?
What?
Social media.
I'm not on social media. I'm just on Facebook. I don't do anything, but I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Insta Coffee, whatever. I'm not on any of it. I'll give you an idea how bad I am with this shit. I can't find porn on the internet. Okay, so I'm just on social media.
I don't believe him. He was going to be a priest.
I got those videos.
Get out of here! Get out of here! Alan Bursky, the best. Alan, honest to God.
If you become stars in a few years and make a lot of money, look me up. Give me money.
That's it. You see? And you know what? We're going to get this party started right away, and we're going to ask that everyone's quiet because we are taping.
Ship in and buy air conditioning. Jesus.
We have air conditioning on. You're just going through menopause. And you know why they call it menopause? Because the men all pause when you walk into the room. Okay, that's right. We're going to keep this going higher. And just love the skin you're in. Let's give it up for the comedy of Nick Hanrahan. Let him hear you. I know.
All right, let me turn my laugh ears on. It's hot. It's hot as a motherfucker, huh? I'm brown, and so I go outside and I make the same mistake every summer. I think I don't need sunscreen, and then go out for 5 hours, and then I end up peeling my entire layer of skin off. Yeah, I'm half brown, so that was the half whiteness, not putting in too much work. So, anyways, hi, I'm Nick. I'm from the Bay Area, Silicon Valley actually, but I tell people the Bay Area to sound cool, just because San Francisco, Oakland, that's like the cool parts, but Silicon Valley is just like a chip factory. So, that's where I'm from. In Silicon Valley, the only thing that matters is where you went to college, what tech company you're gonna work to, what engineering degree you're gonna get, and I just couldn't deal with it, and so I made it out of Silicon Valley like rappers made it out the hood. I just instead of getting away from hard times and crime, it's just big tech and math, and I'm an engineer. I work in tech. Are you kidding me? Make $1 million? Fucking work from home? I I work from home, and so does my roommate, which sucks because we spend a little too much time together. And so, like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm cool with silence. He'll come up to me and just start asking me questions like, dude, why didn't we domesticate bears? And I'm like, I don't know. Probably because they're fucking bears. I don't know. You can be the first, huh? Also, you drive like shit. Anyways. But, yeah. Nah, he's cool. We're cool. He drives fine. What else is going on? Yeah, so I'm very awkward. I'm like most engineers, you know. It's probably apparent, you know. So, like, I don't know. I have so many awkward interactions. It sucks, dude. Like, I try to like. You ever try to yell out an awkward moment in your head? Like you try to yell it out of existence. I'm brushing my teeth in the morning, like, fuck. Why did I say that? It happened. And yeah, and I've fumbled so many hot girls being like this. It's so sad. Like, I wake up in the middle of the night like a war veteran with PTSD. Like, shit, why did I say that? I should have died. Oh. And, yeah, and so I'm off the dating apps. It turns me into a robot more than I actually am. So, yeah, I play this game called Real Life Tinder. I walk up to you in real life. Hello. Take your AirPods out. How's your day going? No, yeah, they do not like that shit. I've been hearing about these run clubs. Apparently these are like horn fests. That's what everyone's going to do. Like, I went to go to one just to see what it was about. And, yeah, it's true. I showed up and I was like, hey, I'm here for the gangbang. And this motherfucker pulls out a stopwatch and is like, you got to hit a 7-minute mile, my dude. And so I'm training for that. What else? I got more horny shit, more horny jokes. The Mile High Club, you know, they're sending people into space now, so pretty soon we're going to be one-upping the Mile Up Club, Mile High Club. I don't know, Brokeback Space Mountain is the name I'm thinking. Yeah, space porn's about to be crazy. Money shot across the space shuttle. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. What else is going on? Do I have more horny jokes? I don't know. No. Yeah, I always talk about being horny. Let's talk about something more civil, huh? Anyone hyper aware of pickpocketers? I'm constantly like checking my shit, you know? All right, when I'm walking, like, put my stuff in my front pocket. When I'm sitting down, putting stuff in my back pocket. If someone's a little too close behind me, I'm like, hey, you're a little too close. Like, I'm watching you. I wish this motherfucker's about to take my shit. I want him to. I want him to see what happens. And he just walks away. And I'm like, bitch. Anyways. All right, what else is going on? I don't know. I put a block of cheese in the microwave. And then I just wanted some warm cheese. I don't know. And then I fell asleep, and I was like, I forgot about the cheese in the microwave. And then I checked it in the morning, and there's a rat in my microwave. I'm like, how did this rat get in my microwave? He doesn't have thumbs. How did he fucking get in? I didn't care, dude. I just turned that bitch on and exploded his ass. All right. That's it for me. You can find me at Nick the Hanrahan on Instagram or nickhanrahan.com. Thank you.
Yeah. Nicky. Nick, I can't explain to you about the 80s, but I had something going on in my attic, and it was a squirrel, and it was in the fan, and I kept thinking it was the police coming, and then I turned the light on, but the light turned on the fan and it cut up the squirrel. And I said to my girlfriend, please come and take a look, Susan. I go, please take a look at this. And she goes, no, why would I want to do that? And I didn't know why she wanted to do that. I just wanted her to see it because I was scared. because I'm allergic to sweet and low, which has nothing to do with this story, but I opened my cabinet and there was a squirrel sitting there doing like this, eating sweet and low, just spitting out and spitting it. And I had to call a police officer who lived at my house, not at my house, up the street, and because I'm terribly allergic and I go into anaphylactic shock. And I said, it's in there, and I opened the cabinet doors and there was nothing there. So I just wanted to tell you that. There was nothing there, and I just looked crazy. And then I got fleas, and I had no animals. But what happened was they had made a nest in my couch. I slept on the couch because I was afraid, and I didn't know I slept with all these little baby squirrels. And, you know, I'm sharing these squirrel stories for no other reason than I once went and left my heart in San Francisco. But I'm going to tell you who's bringing San Francisco to LA. I am so happy to say that we are merging with the Film Actors Cafe. And here for your enjoyment as a comedian and the director of the Film Actors Cafe, the one and only Aaron McIntyre. Let me hear you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all. How you doing? Are you okay? Everybody's okay? Good. I just want to check in with everybody because I don't want to put a lot of pressure on you and go, how you doing tonight? Because then you have to clap. And by the end of a comedy show, I'm fucking tired of clapping, you know, with so many people coming up. My name is Aaron, but it's not Aaron. It's not Aaron. It's Aaron. Please don't call me Aaron. It's Aaron. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about taking the E period, A period, E period, Ron McIntyre. Then I'd be like L. Ron McIntyre, or Hubbard. I guess he's a Hubbard. Oh, boy, that went really well. Yeah, so think of aeronautics. That's one way to look at it. It's aeronautics, just A-E-R-O-N. Now we've got that out of the way. I wore this shirt tonight. I hope, what do you think? Nice, huh? I usually wear T-shirts, but I started walking around with my Lucky T-shirt. People thought that I was a Trump supporter, so I decided, you know, I'd rather look like I don't know, what do I look like? Fucking some kind of a Guido. I can look like, yeah, mobster, yeah. You know, hey, yeah, what's up, you know? Yeah. I actually, Aaron is not my name. I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's actually made up, but this is like the fifth time I've changed my name throughout my life. I told this story before. Every time my dad was in the military. How many military brats out there? Anybody? You don't know what you're missing. It's fantastic. Every 2 years, you go from one place to another. And that's really good if you fucking don't like yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because every time you leave, you can go, well, when I get there, I'm going to be totally different. So, you know, one time I was Spike. You know, and I get off the plane, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Spike. Hey, what's up? You know, trying to be. But then all of a sudden, you know, I come up, try to do my moves, you know, with some girl, you know, and I go, hey, baby, what's up? You know, and she go, what are you talking about? And I go, well, hello, my lady. And I just become fucking weird. Because I am weird. And I've accepted that about myself. It's only taken about 45 years of therapy. I started therapy when I was 8, after some terrible trauma when I was 6, which I won't talk about because it's not fucking funny, okay? It's just fucking not funny. But yeah, I went through a lot of therapy. My mother was driving around the block one day, and she saw me picking up a tricycle and throwing it on the ground, trying to destroy it, and she thought, I think he might need a little therapy, a little help there. I did move out to California because I am a utilitarian. I wanted to be a minority because utilitarian is somebody who, you know, I like things done a certain way, and this fucking texting is absolutely driving me out of my fucking mind. Jesus Christ, the buttons are so small, my fingers are fat, I can't fucking do... Texting is meant for one-word responses. Do you want to meet at 7? Yes. Where? I don't know, Chipotle, you know, whatever the fuck you want to do, just fucking, and then that's it. You don't want to be like, so I don't know, I was thinking about the Chao Qing, the dynasty, but, you know, they have such a bad, and I'm like, fucking just pick up the fucking phone. Would you pick up the phone? God damn. So I don't know why you needed to know that, but I told you anyway. So fuck it. I went out during the pandemic and I took care of my mom. Yes, it was the most difficult, but the best thing I've ever done. Moved out there right at the beginning. She got put into a nursing home. She wanted to go home, so I came and I took her out. And I had to kick my brother out, who's my older brother. And I had to kick him out of the house because he was living with my mother and drinking all the beer and using all of her fucking money. And so I had to kick him out. He moved out. I moved Mom in. And then 7 days later, he died. Yeah. Yeah, and so now I'm stuck with Mom with nobody around except for me, and her spending all of her days laying in bed going, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I think she was just trying to find the right way to say goodbye so that the angels would come down and swoop her up, which they finally did. I did a really terrible job of taking care of her because she died. You know, she died. So now I'm an orphan. I'm looking for a home. Could you take me home, please? Oh, good. I was gonna, yeah. That would be fun. I do think we would have. I do think we'd have a good time. You know, I think we, right.
Buddy collie.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. It's like, there they are. He's a Trump supporter. She's a gay lawyer. That'd be fucking fantastic, baby. I think that'd be great. Hey, what's your name? Sean, is it S-H-A-W-N or S-E-A?
S-E-A-N is my middle name, but my first name is actually
Sean. Wow. They like that Sean sound. That's cool. That's cool. I know your name, but go ahead. Tell me. Say, what's your name? Adrian. Oh, Adrian. Oh, cool. Yeah. And you are from Jersey.
I am from Jersey.
So it totally makes sense. Totally fucking makes sense. Totally makes sense. And Sunda, which is Sunday without the Y, which we know and we love. We love you. Nick, is that Nicholas or is it? No, it's just Nick.
Nick.
They got tired. They were like, I just fucking name him to Nick. Jesus Christ, you don't need Nicholas. It's 3 fucking syllables. I don't need any of these goddamn syllables. Let's see here. What else? Oh, I definitely want to make a movie. So we're going to make a movie tonight. We're going to cast everyone in the movie. Name a genre. Anybody, name a genre. Horror. Oh, it's a horror film. Okay, so is this a horror film like, give me like 3 famous horror movies.
Texas Chainsaw
Massacre. The Grudge. I don't know. The Social Network. We're gonna do a horror movie of The Social Network. Okay. So let's see. You're Facebook guy. You're the guy who makes the Facebook. Okay. You're gonna be the twins. Okay. You're the twins right here. You are gonna be the love interest. Okay. So you'll be the. What was her name? Who was she?
She was Jewish.
She was Jewish. So that works. Right? We got you cast. I was telling the people in the back, I was saying she'd be perfect for the Jew girl. That would be fabulous. I have to talk to the Hebrews because I just they're Hebrews to me because I just can't. The Jew thing just doesn't work. Jew. It just sounds like abortion, or something like that. Abortion is another one of those words that I want to change. I think we should call it exhumicus. Exhumicus because you exhume and icus means to do babies or something. Babies. I think it's babies. Icus. The icus that we have in ancient Rome or Greece or wherever the fuck that language is from. Anyway, so we're getting into it. Okay, so we got Facebook guy. We got the twins here. We got love interest. Nick, who are you going to be? Let's have you be the friend of the Facebook guy. Okay. Yeah. Who? Andrew what?
No, Andrew Garfield.
Yes, Andrew Garfield. We all love Andrew Garfield, don't we? So you're Andrew Garfield, okay? You're annoying, and the three old guys back there, you don't fit in because you're too old for the fucking movie. I'm sorry, because it's a young person's movie. Yeah. Do you know any? Are there any old people in there? Like me? Any old white bald people? What's my part? Oh, I get to play the dean. I get to play the dean of the. Okay, so what's your first line?
You didn't invent Facebook.
That's right, because you did. Right. Yes, you did. Okay, so you're talking to the twins here, and you're saying to them, okay, so tell them. Go ahead. Let it out, man.
You didn't invent Facebook. I did.
And what would you say to that?
Well, we're gonna go row our boat away from you because you're annoying.
Row. Nice. Pull in the rowing. Nice. Oh, that's good. And what would you say to that?
I'm going to roll a joint while you're rolling.
I'm going to roll a joint while you're rolling. Okay, good. And a love interest over here? Your line is, I don't know. You're writing.
Are we friends on Facebook?
Are we friends on Facebook? Good. So who are you asking? Are you asking the twins? Oh, no, you're asking Facebook boy.
I deal with the twins.
You don't deal with the twins.
Army Hammer.
No. Army Hammer, yeah. Ooh, cancel that guy. Boy. If you don't cancel him, he's going to eat you. And what would your line be, Nick? To all of this, you're watching all of these people. He's saying, you didn't invent Facebook. And she's saying, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to go row my boat and fuck you. And she's saying, I'm going to roll a joint while you row. And then she's saying, are we friends on Facebook? And you say,
Where's my money?
Where's my money? Where's my money? And I say, you're all expelled. Why? Just sounded good. Okay, ready? From the top. And, all right, roll sound, sound, speeding, roll camera, and action.
You didn't invent Facebook. I did.
Fuck you, I'm gonna go row away from you.
And I'm going to roll a joint with you.
So is my request in your inbox?
Okay, there's no improvising. Okay, this is a written, the written word is, it's very sacred. It's very, yeah, you wrote it, but a big deal. And then what do you say?
Where's my money?
And I say, you're all expelled. All right, I'm done. Well, that was a fun little movie. Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Aaron McIntyre, AARON, and that's where you can find me.
Oh, yes. I love this. Where'd you get this? My father used to have these.
I got it at Figood.
Figood?
I get all my clothes from the mail.
So listen, now you guys have to know that you're right by the camera, so when they're trying to buy the footage, they're going to hear you talking. And if somebody talked on you, Mark Safran, you would piss blood. But I'm not going to put you in that situation. Some people can, some people can't. Some people like to flex their abs. I like to flex my fab. Let's give it up for the one and only Carrie Fab. Let them hear you. We're going to light you at 3.
New recording.
It's you.
How's that work?
I can't believe it. Is that you? Brodsky? Is that you?
You talking to me?
I can't see. Johnny Carson? I see you. I remember you. You're awesome.
Yeah.
What a show. That was awesome. Thank you. Mark, text him back. He's been texting you. Listen, let's give it up for Sandra. What a hostess. LA Comedy School, the bomb. How about that last comedian? Did he not finally find himself? Spike. You found yourself on Facebook with rowboats and money and smoking weed. How about that, Sam? I don't know. Have anybody ever been to a college football game? Let me liven you guys up. This is what happens. People in Alabama send their kids to the University of Alabama. $40,000 tuition. So we're going to divide up the crowd right here. We're going to have this A, this B. You go into the football game and half the room goes roll and the other half of the stadium goes tide. Can we try that one time? We go roll. We go tide. We go roll. We go tide. We moved down to South Carolina. It's a little cheaper to go to school down there. We get into the football stadium, 75,000 people. Get ready. You guys only have to say game. And you guys say Cox. South Carolina. Ready, game.
Game.
Cox. Game. Cox. And they ask what the problem is with the people from the South. Cox. Who thinks of this? You know? Gamecocks. Are you kidding me? I was at University of Michigan on Saturday, and everybody has an IQ over the top. It's $100,000 a kid to go there. All the parents are sitting like this, and it's their turn. And they go, half the room goes, go, blue, go, blue. Isn't that nice? That's what $100,000 gets you. At Wisconsin, at the start of the fourth quarter, they do the jump around. That's what they do. And half the student section, are you ready for this? You ready back there? Half the student section says to the other half, eat shit. And I'm not lying. And the other section says back, Sam, fuck you. And this gets louder, eat shit.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Eat shit.
Fuck
you.
That's what happens when you pay $100,000 and send your kids to college these days. That's what you get. Last year,
You got 2 minutes.
I landed in LA. I got on the 2, the 5, the 10, the 15, the 17, the 210, the 17, 710. I was heading for the marina. I ended up in San Diego. I was really lost. I could understand it. This is a lost society. There are cars that are driverless. There are boxes in the streets that are driving themselves around. They have eyes. I went to dental school for some work in my mouth. They sent me to the basement. I felt like I was in a tunnel. You guys have been awesome. I can't wait to see you at my next game. I'm Carrie Fab. We'll see you guys soon. You can find me on Instagram at Carrie Fab, the LA Comedy School. We're out. Thank you.
Oh, man. See, I can't wait to get to that part.
All right.
This is yours, right?
998.
998, right? See how wonderful that is? So wonderful. We're gonna bring up this this comedy concierge that's make sure that everything is open for you guys, okay? So make sure your laughter box is open for the one and only Samantha Linderman. Samantha! AKA Samantha. Samantha.
Make sure your laughter box is open. If a teacher has ever said that to you, report them. Is your laughter box open? That's what the psychiatrist said. And I was like, I'm like, okay, I wish psychiatrists had the light. I really do. Sometimes they talk a lot. But to be fair, I mean, I don't know, they're doctors. I don't like when doctors really talk that much. I mean, unless it's about the thing I'm there for, you know what I mean? My pediatrician would always ask me how's school, how's homework. And I was like 15, and I looked at her and I looked at my mom and I said, "Are you two getting lunch or something?" I said, "Are you two in cahoots? Because you sound the same. Like I sound like my dad." I was like, "Because I thought you were a doctor. I didn't think you were talking about my schoolwork." And then she said, "Are you on your period?" No, she didn't. I don't know why I said that. It's really cold outside. No, I said that to my mom on the phone and I waited for her to laugh and she didn't. I was like, "Mom, I have a joke I want to run by you." She goes, "Really, me?" And I said, "I'm going to go on stage and I'm going to go, woo, it's chilly outside." And I was like, are you there? Because my phone's been hanging up. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm missing this cannon right now. And it was nothing. I just started community college. It's very exciting. It's even like, you get even a broader audience than this room, believe it or not. I would say at community college, like truly every single kind of person. It's really exciting. There's this older man in my class, and of course I end up with him at Subway. You know, and it's like I say that to people and they don't understand how that happens. But I said, hey, how was class for you? You know what I mean? Like I'm missing that like after class. I'm like, ooh, did you do the homework? Oh, this man's in his 60s. So anyway, I helped him with the computer because that makes me feel good. You know what I mean? When I miss you, I just want to find people and they're like, where's my password? And I help them with it. That happened to me at the library. I helped this older man for 40 minutes use the school printer. To be fair, the volunteer librarians weren't really helpful. And I heard this woman on the computer, she goes, she sounds like she's freaking out, and the librarian volunteer. I don't know why I keep saying volunteer. It's like rude. I think she's just a librarian. It's fine. But she's like, close the tab, and the woman goes, "What's a tab?" And I was like, someone needs to help. Something bad is gonna happen if she can't. She's like, it's the Google Doc. She goes, what's the Google? I was like, this is crazy. But like, what do you do? I don't know. You can't really. I don't know. My grandma's not on the computer. She's all about writing stuff down. I want to read something that my grandma wrote. I never look at my phone on stage, but it's actually that good. Okay, it's actually in the audience because I'm so off book. Basically, my Zadie, my grandfather, was called in for jury duty. He's 89 years old and can't be on the jury. You know what I mean? Like, if he's on the jury, like, I'm scared. You know what I mean? So my grandma wrote down in the most beautiful cursive, of course. I feel like what a lot of older people's political decisions have to do with why don't they teach cursive anymore in school? Right. And I'm like, that's just the beginning of the problems, Grandma. You're missing out. You're really missing out on a lot of stuff. Teachers are great. I love that they all have their little quirks. I had this health teacher who never wore shoes or socks. Encouraged us to do so, which I was like, that's a bit much, you know, because I'm saying it's a public school. It's like, it's not like that. But he very physically, you could tell, had done steroids in his life. So he was like this big, like vein right here. And he's like all about vegan, health, wellness. And I'm like, but how did you get to be, you know, on a teacher salary? But he wasn't in the I'm Sexy and I Know It music video. But what's it called? I mean, he didn't show up for 3 days and everyone was like, what the hell? Like, he died. He died on a jog. So ask me why I don't exercise. I'm just saying, my health teacher really has a heart attack on a jog? I can't, it's not safe, you know? It's just not safe out there to go for a run. As soon as I start sweating, I'm like, I just need to sit down. I hate when I'm in an elevator and somebody over 40 looks at me bad. Does that happen to you? Like, somebody used it as small talk. He was like, oh, really? You two need to be on here? And I was like, what is this? As somebody who frequently does attend an open mic, it's like, I don't want to be heckled for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want this. I want this here and in therapy, and that's it. You know, that's the only time I really need that feedback. I had a therapist want to come to my comedy shows, and I was like, you don't get enough of what's up here already? 1 hour, 50 minutes a week? If I'm lucky, if I'm there on time. And then they start with the dogs. They're like, I have to bring my dog to session. Like, what is this? I don't know. Did you talk to your therapist about this? Can I speak to your therapist, please? And then that therapist, like, I want to find the best one. I like my therapist right now. She's a therapist in training. No, I'm kidding. I've never said that to her. I respect her so much, I swear. I did judge her off her looks immediately. I was like, this woman is too beautiful to understand true pain. Crazy thought, right? But, no, I mean, she wears a lot of neutral tones, but I love her. She's fun. You know what I mean? She's fun. She's cool. She gets it, you know. Sometimes I think sounds are in my head, so I got quiet to hear it, and it's not in my head. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. I'm not like that. I mean, I really realized I was not able to focus when I tried to take my permit test at the DMV. I was like, the man next to me reeks of marijuana, and somebody's sitting there with the handbook, and they walk up to him, they go, "Sir, do you have any reviewing materials with you?" He goes, "No. I'm seeing pictures of stop signs, yield signs, like everything." And he goes, "Honestly, I'm not ready. I need a couple more minutes. This man's gray." You know what I mean? I'm like, this is scary. Like, you drove here. I know you drove here. Like, people are driving to the DMV to take their permit test. And I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it to be a touch screen. They don't tell you that when you walk in. I thought at most I'd be clicking, so it just didn't click, and that's really hard. I'm a huge fan of the Adam Sandler movie Click, which is not an opinion with anybody I've ever met. Like, I've never met anybody who likes that movie. But I do love Adam Sandler. I mean, he's a fashion icon, comedy icon. This has been a great night. I'm so sweaty. I took the bus today. It was great. What I love about the bus is, again, it's the best place to people watch. It's so much more fun to people watch, obviously, on the bus than in an Uber. Because when an Uber, you have your one guy, and if you're lucky, he'll take you to McDonald's on the way home. But even then, it's kind of like you have to like really keep the conversation going through the drive-through. That's hard. I was in an Uber, and you know, what happened is like he heard my stomach grumble or something. It was so fucking awkward. He's like, "Where you going? Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "To a man's house." Like, it was like crazy. And I stopped on the way, and I called the guy. I'm like, "I'm at CVS. Do you need anything?" Gives me a list. It was crazy. This dip, and if they don't have this dip, then that kind, and the ice cream. I'm like, dude, I'm in CVS with my Uber driver, okay? Like, got the Uber myself. I'm not trying to be like that, but I'm like, this isn't Instacart adjacent. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. All my Uber drivers tell me to drive for Uber. That's not true. I would say 50-50. Most of the time I say I don't drive, they say good. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, you know, like, I don't know. They can just tell, probably. They could just tell. That's what they said about ADHD. That's what one therapist said. She goes, "I could just tell when you walked in." So, but how does that help me with the forms I have to fucking fill out to get this shit out? You know what I mean? She says she could tell when I walked in the room. That's not really helpful. You know, I used to work at Bath and Body Works. Thank you so much. And, thank you so much. And... But no, it was fun. It was really hard because they would give me the light way sooner than that. Like, I had a radio on, and they would say, "Sam," and everybody's on the same station, so everybody's hearing this. Sam, it's time to break away. It's time to break away." I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought it was my job to sell, to judge. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. They're like, "Why are you holding this older woman's bag?" I said, "Did you see what's in the bag? 7 3-wicks. Those are $32.95. Guys, we're having an acting workshop on September 17th. We have one for young actors starting 4:30, ends at 6:30. Adults come in at 7, right here with Aaron McIntyre himself, Film Actors Cafe, and LA School of Comedy. It's really exciting. Stay tuned. Thank you for everything, and please welcome back to the stage the woman who does it all. My acting teacher asked everybody. They said, "Who inspires you?" I'm the only one who didn't say their mom. I said Suna. Okay, give it up for Suna Krugman!
Learn from my mistakes. Right? Learn from my mistakes. Oh God. And also learn from the wonderful people that we have surrounding us. This has been a really great week, and I'm really glad to have this woman come to the stage, not because she's from New Jersey, but because she's brilliant. And I want to see her outdo Sean being a wordsmith. So come up here. Let's give it up for the one and only Adrienne Russo.
Wow, I don't really know what to say about that. That's very nice of you, Cinda. I'm gonna do a bunch of stuff that I have never shown to you before, and that's what I've been doing for weeks on end. So that's just what you're saying now. First of all, sorry I'm wearing shorts and sandals. It's freaking hot, but I really don't give a shit. This is just how I showed up. So, it is what it is. Patty the first time I did an open mic, Patty got on stage wearing shorts, and he goes, "I don't give a shit what anybody says. I'm going to wear shorts if I want to, especially if it's fucking hot." And it's 103 degrees, so, I'm going to wear whatever the fuck I want.
You're allowed.
Yeah, it's really great to be back here. I was gone for a week I was in Puerto Rico, and right before I went to another open mic. I had never been to a different open mic before, and I think I made a fool of myself because when I got the light, most people, they're like really cool. They're like, yep, got it. I did this. So it's on camera. I checked when I got the footage. I was like, man, that looks really bad. So, it's nice to be back because, especially coming from vacation, because it's like coming home here, except nobody's asking me when I'm going to start dating men again. So that's really nice. But I mean, at the end of the day, I really felt like I needed to step away for a little bit. I went to Puerto Rico, and I didn't realize that you had to look at the weather before you move to, or go on vacation to a place. Went to Puerto Rico during hurricane season, which is probably the dumbest thing I've ever could have done. I got really lucky though; there were no hurricanes and the beaches were empty because no one's stupid enough to book a trip to Puerto Rico during hurricane season. But it was a good time. My friend and I decided to do a bit when we went to a Michelin star restaurant. We forgot about the bits. 3 weeks before we before we arrived in Puerto Rico, my friend wrote on the website that it was our honeymoon. So on our way to the restaurant, we get a call asking if we were on our way and confirming that we were celebrating our special day. And as soon as she hung up, I said, we're either going to have to sell this or just pretend it never happened. But she was like, no, it's going to be fine. I'm sure, at best, they're probably going to put a candle in the dessert. And that's not what happened at all. As soon as we walked in, the hostess was like, felicidades. And I was like, oh, okay. I looked at her, my friend, and she looked at me, and I put my arm around her and I said, and we're just so happy to spend our special day with you. I love my wife so much. We got married a week ago, and it's just such a beautiful day and a beautiful night, and we're just here to spend this beautiful time with you and have a beautiful meal. And they bought it. We got there to the table, and they had rose petals on the table. They gave us a lot of free drinks. They also gave us a recipe to their most prized soup. I never thought soup in Puerto Rico would be that good, or it would be something people would eat when it's like 80 degrees with like 99% humidity, but whatever. It feels almost as hot as it is today. And they also gave us a signed card from the entire restaurant. The entire restaurant had signed this big card that says happy honeymoon. And this woman came up to us and was serving, and she said, where'd you all fly in from? And I had forgotten for a second that it was our honeymoon. How could you forget? But I said, yeah, I flew in from Los Angeles, and Alex, she flew in from Miami. And then I realized what I had done, and thank God for Alex. She just picked it up right away, and she was like, yeah, the thing is, we met in law school, and we just, how it goes, we just couldn't there was no way we could get a job in the same place, so we're going to be living across the country from each other. And I immediately picked that up, and I was like, yeah, it's just so hard, but we figured for our honeymoon, we would meet together here in Puerto Rico. And this woman started crying. She literally was like, it's so beautiful to hear that your love spans geography and across the country. And I looked at my friend Alex, and I was like, we're going to hell. So yeah, it was a good time though. I mean, but flying back on the plane, it was a great trip, but flying back on the plane was terrible. I think a witch placed a curse on me a couple years ago and said that whenever I'm on a plane, a young child has to sit directly behind me at all times, because every single time I have flown, a child has screamed behind me for at least an hour. And I had flown back. We connected in Boston, and I flew back, and the babies in Boston are pretty crazy. The baby literally screamed, I need my pacifier. My pacifier, please. And then said that she wanted to watch a show with Cookie Monster and scream that over and over again. They're built different in Boston. But I think that's all I got. The last thing I'll leave you with is anybody who thinks that a woman doesn't have a right to choose should be on an airplane for 6 hours with a child screaming directly behind, because I was actually, they say that the birth rate is declining rapidly, and I'm like, go further. I don't think anybody should have kids after this. I just literally felt like my ovaries shrivel up, and I never want to have kids ever because I could never subject somebody to that. But thanks, guys.
Yes. Where do we find you?
Adrian Russo Comedy at Instagram. On Instagram.
There you go. Adrian Russo. Yes. Oh my God. The spawn. The spawn of Sean is coming right now. Let's give it up for Sean. Come on, baby.
Hello. What is up, people? Came to a realization today. It's not all stats are like linear, you know? There's always a curve. No matter what you think it is, it curves down eventually. Like, if you're an only child, like, you're probably a little weird compared to the people with a sibling, you know? But if you have like 8 siblings, you're definitely weirder than the only child, right? It's like, those are like, what are you, parents starting a cult? Like, I'm not talking to that kid at lunch, you know? Well, it's like, okay, my buddy, he told me he slept with 50 women. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Once he says like a number like 500, I'm like, first of all, you're disgusting. Also, there's no way you're not also gay, because there's no way 500 women. The only people I've heard with body counts that high are the gays and bis. Mostly bis, you know, because they get their choice. You ever hear this complaint? Everyone complains to me all the time. There's too much to watch on TV. I haven't watched that show. There's just too much to watch right now, you know? Dude, when I grew up, there was like 5 cheerleader-based movies that were like big movies at the time. And you'd be like happy if one of them was on TV. Say, Bring It On 2 tonight on ABC Family? Shit, it's pretty good. I mean, obviously, once you're like 14, you learn how to work the TiVo. You find out there's like HBO. There's better stuff than Bring It On out there for you. So back when there was no TV shows, they were trying to like double up on like every successful TV show and be like, all right, we just had the Walking Dead. You know what's on after Walking Dead? Talking Dead. We're going to talk about the same show. Maybe there won't be a big drop off. There was a show called like Teen Wolf, which wasn't even a good show, but it was like the only good show on the network. So then, you know what came on after Teen Wolf? Teen Wolf again, the same episode. And then after that, it was like Talking Wolves or something. I don't know. They didn't even think of a good name for it. I'm on a mission to bulk up right now. It's clearly working. I've looked like this my whole life. I've never been motivated to get buff at all whatsoever. I've always thought, I already developed a personality. I don't need to go to the gym. This is fine. That's for people who can't talk. They go to the gym. And then I was at Ralph's, and I kind of zoned out a little bit. I was listening to a podcast. I like to grocery shop high as well, so that kind of helped me zone out. And the person behind me wanted to inform me that the self-checkout was open, and they said, yo, Lean Cuisine, you're up next, which I know you're thinking, were you holding a Lean Cuisine? No. There's no reason. I have no idea. But I was like, it ends today. There's no more Lean Cuisine. I don't like the idea. Oh, this one's kind of bad. All right. I don't like the idea of custom license plates. I think it puts too much of your information out there. I saw a nice Tesla on the highway. Plate said hole 1. I was like, damn, this guy's a pro golfer. Let me fucking speed up, see who this is. It's some woman. I'm just like, it's a polygamist's first wife, and he's really sexist in how he refers to them. Yeah, I said that one's a little much. I gotta soften that maybe a little bit. You know what I don't like about old people? Sorry to the back row. You guys are always talking about how much harder shit was for you guys. Like, you guys don't know tough. You guys don't. I had to call a girl's house and talk to her mom, and then to talk to her to maybe be able to ask her out. Which I get it. That's like rough. Sorry. Like, there's no, like, large group embarrassment at the time. Everything was word of mouth. You control the narrative in that time. Like, do you know how tough it is to, in the modern era, and the young people will know this, they've done this. Do you ever forget you're on aux and start recording a Snapchat with Flash? And as a result, the music stops. It's the modern day record screech is what it is, really. The music stops, and while you thought I had footage to prove I have so many friends, it's actually now you just made a video of 8 people looking at you angry with music that kicks in like 2 seconds later. So it's not, I think that's worse. I think we have it worse. My dog's recovering from surgery. This is true. I sent her to this rehabilitation camp, and they also do like a nice boarding. They like go over commands again. So it's like a nice, like, it's basically, they call it dog school, but it's so expensive. I had to get one of those DNA doggy tests to like see if maybe she's Chihuahua and qualifies for some like financial aid or something. But one flat rate, if you'd believe. I'll take it up with the Better Business Bureau. Do you think if you were a time traveler, you could figure out kind of what era you're in just by the answers to the New York Times crossword puzzle? 6 letters for a homo man, 2 G's in the middle. Oh, I know we're before the 60s. I feel like whatever you name your kid, it's pretty much a guarantee they're not going to be that thing. Like, there's a common Persian name, Zeba. It means like pretty or beautiful. Every Zeba is ugly that I've ever met. I remember there's a girl named Melody I went to high school with. She was tone deaf, couldn't sing at all. She was in the choir. I know a guy named Tall. He's short. And I know a guy named Guy, and he's trans now. So went to college with a girl named Ruby. Ironically, gold digger, you know. You'd think it'd be the other Stones. When I think about my future, I'm worrisome. But I could be worried a lot, so things could be worse. That's whack. I recently got to experience pretty privilege for the first time as a man. Which, you know, I got to experience it through like a male model friend, like, which is how most people experience pretty privilege. Like, most women think they have pretty privilege. What really it is you're sitting next to like a really, really pretty girl that you're friends with, and I feel inclined to buy your drink too. Now, this happened recently where someone asked me if my friend was single. I knew he wasn't. However, I had seen women buy him and their friends drinks before. So I said, I don't really know. Let me just introduce you guys. Hey, Jibber. That's his nickname, Jibber. Don't even know his real name. I've known him 4 years. In college, everyone's called him Jibber. Yo, Jibber, this girl was just talking about how she loves snowboarding. Boom, they're connected. She's improv lying to his face for 5 minutes just about how much she loves snowboarding. Buys us a round, and it was the best tasting round I'd ever had. It tastes better when it's free, you know? I think it was like a mutually beneficial night. I mean, eventually I got to get the pretty girl experience, and, you know, she got to lie about a shared interest in detail while talking to someone unavailable, buying drinks for a friend you're not interested in. She got to be a guy for a night. A whole night. I gave her that experience. This is a rom-com idea I've been pitching. It's a blind guy and a deaf girl that fall in love, and we call it Love at First Sniff. Now, like, it doesn't need to be called Love at First Sniff. I mean, because the girl can hear the guy and the guy can see the girl. But this is the sense they share, and Love at First Touch sounded too gay. I think the guy who ran the marathon gets way more credit than he deserves. 26.2 miles, like, yeah, that's cool. You died right after. Gave me a message and died. How am I going to give my message back? All right, your king is going to think I left him on herd. Left on red, but I don't know. It's something. I don't know, this is going to just prove how immature I am. I keep getting European videos because I was just in France, and there's some dietitian. And in Europe, I don't know if you guys know this, cock is a flavor of stuff. It's like, we have chicken ramen noodle. They have ones that just say cock on it. Now, there's nothing inherently funny about that. However, when there's a dietitian talking about, look at this cock soup right here. I'm looking at the label, and you know what I don't see enough of? I don't see enough cock. When I'm looking, cock is the first thing I want to see when I look at this right here. Do you guys understand? And I'm like 12 years old again, you know? I'm just like, I might move to England for this. It might be the only reason. Let me try something new. I keep getting interviewed for jobs, and they do this thing when you're such a low priority for them, where they basically provide you the questions. They send you a link to start recording, and they tell you to ask yourself and then answer the questions. Do I get to negotiate with myself too? What do we think? I'm thinking a couple 100,000. Let's make it a Utah couple. 300,000 for you right here. Boom. There's a lot of that I don't get. There's a lot of internal workings in many fields that I think make no sense to the outsider. I think drug dogs are the stupidest thing. Police dogs are scam artists, really, what it is. No matter what, they can give a signal for the dog to be like, there's something here. Whatever the dog does, hey, sorry, your dog walked around and took a pee on your front left tire, that means crystal meth is in the back right now. I do have a warrant as a result. So, I don't know, I had to go to court for the meth thing, but it's cool. I brought my dog as a witness, and they said I was never there. Right. Thank you, guys. My name is Sean. TikTok, at Sean Tagdis, TAGHDIS.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you bring that Mark for me?
And coming to the stage, you know him, you love him, Mark.
Mark Zaffron.
Yeah, I don't stand up.
Oh, here we go.
So nice to have Alan Bursky here tonight. Give him a round of applause. I really enjoyed listening to his oration.
Sidebar.
But on the other hand, it made me think that I should do my own Showa project. Get all the comics like Bursky together before they're gone and get their oral history of comedy. Who should we start with first, Dreesen?
Yeah, he just called me.
I figured, you know. So who else could we come out of Tales of the Crypt?
We were going around, and I called him today because Jimmy Walker is out of his mind.
No, I'm shocked.
Told Jeff Abraham that Gary was in hospice.
Oh my God.
But Gary's got stage 4 prostate cancer.
Right.
But he's working. We just did 5 shows.
Which Gary we talking about? Oh, so
Start with Gary.
No, you're talking about Richard Jenny. And you're talking about these people. It brings back memories because my wife used to drag me from club to club as she was doing her spots. So I'm at the Laugh Factory one night. May God assoil it. And
Use the microphone, Mark.
I don't need a microphone. I'm Jewish. And Jenny's on stage, comes off, shakes my hand, and I say something to him, and Sunda said, "How can you say that to him? He's suicidal." Went home and killed himself that night. All I said to him is, you shake like a dead man. So she blamed me for that. And then all of a sudden, the other day, she shows me a picture from the Laugh Factory arcade, thing, and I look at it. It's Richard Jenny, Saget, and Ralphie May, and Sunda. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You're a real survivor because they're all gone. But, it's interesting times. Tomorrow is going to be my favorite day for comedy. It's called The Debate. Yeah. We're going to watch Kamala and Donald spar with each other, and I'll enjoy every last minute of it. But the funniest part is the commentary later. I miss Don Lemon. I mean, where could you get that combination of stupidity and narcissism that you got from Don Lemon, right? And then I realized, hey, Chris Cuomo's back on the air. They must breed him over at CNN. But what really amazes me is who they brought back. What was his name again? Seltzer, Brian Seltzer. Whatever it is, I'm not funny. Bottom line is, I'm not funny. Usually I get up here and I give historical lessons to all the children, but they really don't know the history of the world. They really think it began and ended with Joe Biden. It's scary, I get up here, I hear, somebody walks in and says, "Yeah, I was just watching your political thing." I said, "Yeah, who'd I piss off?" He goes, "Everybody." Well, that's my intent, by the way. I think that night I was trying to prove that there is no Palestine and Palestinians. Not a hard thing to prove. I mean, I managed to get a few of, you get a few of them in. We just got back from London. Looks like Cairo. A little bizarre. But be that as it may, every time I come in from New York, my wife sticks me up here. And listening to you, Alan, reminds me of all the incidents with comics and their insanity over the years. Running into Robin Williams on the street, and then they refused him service in a restaurant because he was so stoned he couldn't sit up. He couldn't go to Fuzi's. He had to go to the Chinese restaurant. Excuse me, somebody's calling me. Yes, Aviva. What do you need? What do you need me to do? A meet for the car charge? Okay. Okay. So, this is the interesting thing. My children are driving around in my Mustang Electric. All right? I have no idea where they are. They just call me up and say, you have to do a meet for the car charge. Now, a meet for the car charge usually means they're at UCLA, because that's the only place where they go with the A's. And I just found a meet. Says it's offline. Not good. Bad. Now I have to call them back while I'm up here and say, Aviva,
When you get off.
But it's funny, right? Who am I being rude to? What are you talking about? You're always telling me I'm rude. That's what's called marriage. Thank you all very much. Hey, there's no meets offline. Put it back in. It's a comedy show when they're doing the charging the car.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about electric cars for a second. Any politician that tries to force the country to go to electric cars is either a moron or a retrograde. Bottom line is, not only isn't there enough electricity in Los Angeles to keep your air conditioning going, forget all these people trying to charge their cars. But what's worse is you hear about the government spending $6 billion on 8 chargers. Try to get one of the commercial chargers to work. And it's the strangest thing. It's a comedy show of itself, the people at the charging station. There's the one guy who comes, pulls up his car and leaves. Went jogging. So, I learned something from my wife and I keyed his car. She's from Patterson. What do you expect? You get the entire panoply of people at the charging station, and you really see how people get angry, including myself. You go up there, you got to call them, you got to tell them the charger doesn't work. My car is probably down to 12% because I told them to charge it this afternoon. Now they're driving all over town looking for a working charger. And on that note, which proves the failure of the Joe Biden presidency. All right, thank you all. Nice to see you.
And where do we find your social media?
Yeah, right. You gotta be kidding.
You gotta be kidding.
Social media is an invitation to be sued for slander.
Hey, you married him.
I was gonna say, and you sued your mom, not me.
So my mom sued you.
Oh, right. All right. So I'm dyslexic.
Committed slander.
I commit slander. All right. Right. Don't listen to that.
Quibbling.
It's quibbling. It's Jewish quibbling. That's how Jews quibble. here's papers. Listen, Alan, I want to thank you so much. Really, Alan. Now, you know why? Because I tell them it's just so funny when I use these names that they don't know of. And Richard Jenny is one of them.
Hey, I'll tell you a quick story. My brother was teaching at USC and advertising. And he mentioned Martin and Lewis, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. This is 2 years ago. No one in the class knew who they were.
Neither do they.
I know Dean Martin.
Yeah, but no, a lot of people don't know.
Respect my age.
No, a lot of people don't know. The Sammy Davis guy, I said, you could play Sammy Davis. He goes, the baseball player.
And what most
That's Sammy
people don't know
Sosa.
is that Charlie Manson wasn't hunting for the people he killed. He was hunting for
Terry Melcher.
Jerry Meltzer.
That's his cousin, is Marky, and her father gave the Manson family their name. The Manson family,
Her
yes.
father,
Yes,
that was
Jacobson.
Rudy Altabelli's house, who was my manager.
okay.
Going out of town.
Sold it though.
What?
Right. Did he sell it first?
Oh my
No,
God, only
he didn't
Jews.
sell it. He's going out of town for the summer, and Roman Polanski wanted to sublease the house. They went up there to kill Terry and Rudy, and they just killed whoever they found.
Wow. See, the mob wouldn't have done that. They just wouldn't have. Not that I would know anything about that.
No, not at all.
And let me tell you, Mark, you'll be the first phone they would hit. He's terrible on the phone. He just says anything on the phone. Can you imagine? Nobody's listening. All your mob guys are dead. That's what he says. Then I take him to a nice restaurant in New Jersey, in Wayne. You know what he says? We're getting out of here. He goes, criminality all over, he says. And the guy can hear him. And
You know what it was? It was the Coke can, and he said that's the more Coke can.
You know, our friend Billy Malone,
yes.
okay? He's involved doing a reality show with Sammy the Bull Gravano.
Oh, wow. Sally's, his daughters are crazy.
You don't want to be near that guy. You're out of your mind.
He wasn't the first rat.
No, Jimmy.
Valachi was.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Jimmy Fradiano. And,
Now you're making me hungry. Jimmy Fra Diablo. We're going to have the Sean for the aperitif. Anyway, guys, it was an interesting night, and I want to congratulate you on your open house, all right? And come on in. And listen, if you need your footage, call Kai, Kai. Yes, thank you, Kai, so much. And everybody, good night. I'm Sunda Kronquist. Good night.
28%.
My glasses, where are they?
So, Alan, you're talking about Woody? I ran into him in New York.
It's on your ship.
So you know what it is? She's walking him. She looks
They were like so close for so long, and I kept wanting to be like,
You should.
I couldn't convey it.
Yeah, I don't